Welcome to our workshop on Minecraft plugins. I'm Ray Young, and with me are Isaac and Ryan, who you have seen spotlighted with me. And so today we'll be going through how to make your own Minecraft plugins and how to run your Minecraft server with your Minecraft plugin. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. We'll be going through some quick setup, followed by an introduction, and then talking about a bit on the Spigot API. We'll be talking about then followed by the plugin, which is Carpet Bomber, followed by hosting your Minecraft server, and then finally wrapping up and having some fun. All right. So let me take a look at the results of the poll that we sent out. Okay, so it seems like most of you guys have already downloaded the zip file, which is good. But some of you have not installed all the necessary software, and that's understandable because some of them do have a bit of an esoteric way to install. No worries, I will go through some of it. All right. So setup. As mentioned, do download your files here. I believe the link has been sent to the chat already. So locate the appropriate zip file that corresponds to your computer, Windows, Mac, or even Linux if there's anyone using that here, and unzip the file once you have downloaded it. All right. So for installation, if you don't already have the following software, do run the installers that have been pre-packaged in the zip file. So for example, the development environment of choice today for this workshop will be Visual Studio Code. So if you don't already have Visual Studio Code installed on your computer, do run the VS Code installer that we already have packaged. If you don't have Java, if you're not sure if you don't have Java, then we also package in a Java installer for you. So just run that. For Minecraft, if you have a Minecraft account, then you can just download the Minecraft launcher from Minecraft's own website. For Windows users, you'll also notice a maven.zip file. Do unzip that, all right? And I'll be going through how to install Maven shortly. All right, next. I will need you guys to install the Java extension pack on VS Code. So if everybody could open their VS Code now, I will abbreviate Visual Studio Code as VS Code from time to time. Right, so please forgive me for that. But yeah, that's what I mean by VS Code is Visual Studio Code. So if everybody could open their VS Code up, all right, I will need you to locate this button on the left-hand side panel. This button here called extensions. It looks like a 2x2 grid with the top right-hand grid separated. Or you can press Control Shift X, I believe, or Command Shift X, depending on using Windows or Mac. So once you click on this, once you click on this, I would like you to search for Java. And the first result that comes out should be the Java extension pack by Microsoft. And I'll need you to just install that. All right, and I would like a quick show of hands. Maybe just react with a hands up once you've done that. Okay. All right, I'll move on first. All right. Okay, so next up will be additional installation. All right, so for Windows users who are reading this slide, we'll be going through two things. All right, so first I'll need to install Windows Terminal. So for those who don't already have this installed, I've sent the link in chat. So yeah, I'll need to download Windows Terminal from the Microsoft Store. That link should lead you to that. And secondly, I'll be going through how to install Apache Maven. Right, so I will. Right, give me a moment. Okay, so while we are installing Windows Terminal from the Microsoft Store, I will go through how to install Apache Maven for Windows. So right here, I have the zip file that I downloaded that is provided for you. I'm just going to extract that into this folder real quick. Oh no, what happened? Right. And there we go. Okay. Whatever. So inside this folder, you will see this maven.zip file. I will need you to okay, that my thing is being a bit weird. All right, I'll need to unzip this maven.zip file. All right, just unzip it into this folder here first. Okay, and after you unzip it, you will see this Apache Maven folder. All right. So once you're done with that, go to your start menu. Right click your start menu, and click on run. All right, and then type in So I'll need you to type this in to your run window, percentage user profile percentage. All right, and that should bring up a file explorer window with your name, which is actually your user folder. All right, and then after that, I'll need you to copy this Apache Maven folder into your home directory. So just drag and drop it over lah. Okay. Everyone following me so far? Does anyone is any? What if my C drive has no more space? This is I believe like 7 MB. It should not take that much space. But if your C drive does have, okay, yeah, if you need some time to download the terminal, it's fine. Yeah, we won't be using it immediately, so you can take a bit of time to download it. Yeah, you can just let it download in the background. Is anyone having trouble at this? You need 5 MB more space. Okay, it's okay. Then if you have another drive, just you can take note of the location, take note of just where you copied, where you extracted the Apache Maven folder to. Alright. It's not like strictly necessary to have it in the user folder, but it makes our lives a bit easier. Okay. So hold on. Once you have copied the folder over, I need you to hold on. This Sorry about this. All right. So after entering this, right? After entering percentage user profile percentage, you open the window, and then copy the Apache Maven folder to that. Okay. So after that, I need you to click on your start menu, and search for advanced system. View advanced system settings. All right. Just press enter on that, and that should bring up this window. Okay. Click on environment variables, then click on path and click on edit. So once you're done with this, I need to click on new and then type in %user profile percentage / user path / Apache Maven, basically the folder name. So it's Apache Maven -3.8.1 / bin. Right, I'll paste this in chat as well. So just add that to a new line. Okay, for those who didn't copy it to their user profile because they're out of space on your C drive or whatever, you can also right click on the folder, go to properties, and then copy this and append this name behind it with a /. So that will be, so an example would be, oops, I meant to open that. So an example will be if it's in like a D drive or something, you can do D : /Apache Maven 3.8.1 /bin. Make sure you add the /bin at the back. If not, it will not work. Does anyone at this point need any help? No? Okay. Then I'll move on. So once you've done this, click on OK, click on OK, click on OK. And then that's pretty much all the setup that we have. If you're wondering why it's so tedious, it's because of Windows being a bit more annoying to deal with when it comes to the command line. And so after that, okay, Zulu, Zulu, I'll get somebody to help you. All right. Okay. So I'll start on the introduction first. Okay. So a bit of introduction. So what exactly is Minecraft? Now, I think most of y'all here should know what Minecraft is, right? Hold on. You guys can see my screen, right? Okay, yeah. If you're still downloading Windows zip, okay, if you're still downloading Windows zip, it's okay. We'll help you. We'll help you when you're done downloading it. Right. So, so I think most of you here should know what Minecraft is. But for those who don't, right? So Minecraft is a Minecraft. I'll just introduce it to you. So Minecraft is a three-dimensional sandbox game developed by Mojang and now owned by Microsoft. Right, and basically it's a game that allows players to express their creativity, right, by having infinitely large worlds with asterisk, uh, to explore, to build things in, and to basically just have fun. And for Minecraft, there are two game modes. There's single player and there's multiplayer. Now, for the purposes of this workshop, the multiplayer game mode is what we're after. All right. So, what is a Minecraft server, right? So, a Minecraft server is basically Minecraft, all right, that is hosted on on a server so that you can play together as a team, right? You can or that's like you can play together as members of the public, for some public servers that you have on Minecraft, right? Um, but here comes the question: what exactly is a Minecraft plugin, right? And simply put, a Minecraft plugin is a Minecraft plugin introduces features to the game that enhances, like for example, game mechanics, like the economy, by adding by introducing new features, but it does not edit the core game directly, right? So it's happening on the server side. So if you think of it this way, I have a really simple illustration. So while this is not the exact case, you can think of it as Minecraft plus a little bit of you plug some stuff in and you get some result at the back, right? But this of course is not exactly true. But for intents and purposes of this workshop, this is what Minecraft plugin is, right? So what are we making? So today we are going to make a Minecraft plugin that blows things up with TNT by tracking where you are looking in the game itself, right? So for those who love destruction in Minecraft, this is, I guess, a good workshop for you guys, right? Okay. So next we'll be introducing the Spigot API, right? And this Spigot API is basically how we interface with the Minecraft server, right? So the link provided here is actually a link to the Java document, to the Spigot API documentation. I will not be sending this link because even though documentation is sometimes hailed as the holy grail, in this case, it's more like a grill. If you look at the site, it's kind of confusing to a beginner, right? They just talk all about packages and classes and things like that, and to a beginner, it's not very friendly, right? In fact, you go a bit like, what the heck is this? But it's okay. We'll guide you through this workshop, right? This is the purpose of us leading you through this workshop today. So, without further ado, I'll be giving you a small demo of what the Minecraft, what our Carpet Bomber plugin is. So, let me bring up the video. And Isaac, it's over to you. Yeah.
Hello. If you look at the video, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating a command that users can use in the game, which carpet bombs TNT. And this chain of TNT, right, will actually be able to follow where the user is looking at. So you can actually steer the direction of the TNT carpet bomb mid-flight. So I think this can be illustrated better in the second run of the command. So you have to stay tuned. Yeah, the lag's kind of okay actually. It doesn't lag that much. So you can see the usage of the command is carpet bomb, the player name, and the number of cycles. So you can see that I'm looking slightly to the right, and at the same time, the chain of TNT is also going to the right.
If you notice a bit of lag, it's because of me streaming the video over Zoom and not exactly the lag on the game itself.
Yeah, the server will be fine generally as long as you don't overdo it. So you should have installed along with the zip file the basic directory. So can you check if you have this?
This is in a file called template.zip, I believe. So inside the template.zip file, you will see this. You'll find this carpet bomb folder.
Yeah, so you all can just unpack. It's still downloading. Okay. Send in the chat once you're done. Is everyone up to speed? Where? It's in templates.zip.
So for you guys, for the Windows people, there is a template.zip file in the zip file that we sent you. So this contains the template for the project that we're making for our project. If anyone is having any trouble, can you raise your hand on Zoom? If not, we'll take it that we can continue.
What we do and sorry, Mikhail, what do you mean? You just need the folder unpacked in your on your file explorer somewhere. Yeah, we'll be opening the folder in Visual Studio. So I take it that everyone has the template unpacked, so you can see. Oh, we'll move on first, since the first part of the. Yeah. So once you've located the file, right? Let me share. Ryan, can I share my screen?
Yep, sure.
Yep. Thank you. Can y'all see? Can y'all see Visual Studio? Yes. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to open the carpet bomb folder in your Visual Studio Code. So you can just open it and like drag carpet bomb inside here, and this will just open the like that, and this will just open the folder if I'm not wrong. All right. Does everybody have this open? Does everybody have your carpet bomb directory in Visual Studio? Once you have it, you should be able to see this structure, right? Source main. Yours might be a bit different from mine, but as long as you have app.java in some subdirectory of the main folder, it should be fine. So we are going to begin. For the plugin, we are going to use a language called Java, which is quite a popular language. But if you don't know how to code in Java, or if you've never seen Java before, it's fine. I think the structure of the language is quite similar compared to other programming languages out there. It will also be useful if you know a bit about object-oriented programming. But if you don't, that's okay as well. I'll try my best to explain it as we go along. So first, what we need to do, if everybody has this open, is to open up app.java so we can edit it in the code editor over here. We'll first need to define our package. So we'll do package. And then after this should be the name of the package. The name of the package for you should be carpet bomb or whatever your folder name is here, like the immediate folder that the app.java file is in. In your case, it should be carpet bomb. But mine, since mine is BVCS, I'll just name mine BVCS. And after every line, you have to terminate with a semicolon in Java. So after that, we'll be defining a class for our plugin. So if you're not familiar with object-oriented programming, or OOP for short, a class is basically a block of code that you can use to represent an object, for example. So in this case, we are going to be representing the whole plugin as a class. So to define a class, it's very simple. We just type the keyword class, and we type the name of our class. And in this case, let me just close this directory tree so y'all can see better. So in this case, we'll just name the class app. And then we have open curly braces and closing curly braces. And this definition of our app will go in between these curly braces. So this is the class definition, and we can use this to represent our plugin. Right, but there's a few more things that we need to do with this class. First, we need to set it to public. So in Java or in a lot of other languages, there are two different kinds of accessibility, you could say. So the first one is public, the second one is private. So since in this case, we will be exporting this class, so that means we'll be exporting this function, we'll be using this plugin elsewhere in the elsewhere on the server. So we will have to define it as public. If we define it as private, right, the server won't be able to access our plugin class here. The next thing we need to do is we need to inherit from a class definition that the Spigot API has defined for us. So this might sound a bit complicated, but in simple terms, right, what we are really doing is we are taking a class that someone else has created, and we are just reusing it in a way. We are taking that class and then just changing certain parts of it to fit our needs. So that this is so that we just don't have to type a lot of code. Someone send something in the chat. Ryan, can you help the Mikhail guy out? Thanks. So in this case, right, we are going to be inheriting from a class called Java plugin. And Java plugin is a class that we can access via the Spigot API. So what we can do is we can type import here. Then we will need to import the Java plugin class definition. So it can be found in org.bukkit.plugin.java.java plugin. and close with semicolon. So now that we have imported this, we can inherit from this class. So inheritance in Java is managed by the keyword extends. So we can type extends, and the class name that we are inheriting from, so Java plugin. Right, so after this, we can define our methods. So if you're not familiar with OOP, I'll explain methods briefly. So methods are just functions, if you've heard of functions, but these functions are only accessible within a certain class. So when you call these methods, it's like calling a function, but this function is housed inside the class. So let's say if you have a class called, if you have a class that represents a plugin, like we do now, right? Like what can some of these methods be? Like onEnable, for example. If you define a function called onEnable inside this Java plugin class, it becomes a method of the class. So this class method will be able to, is just a function, just that it has access to all the attributes within the class itself. Yeah, it's just a function, just defined within a class. So in this case, what we can do is since we are already inheriting from this class has certain methods that are already defined. And what we can do is we can redefine these methods so that when they are called on the server side, it will execute our code. It will execute the code we defined here instead of the template code in Java plugin, in the Java plugin class. So we can redefine these methods by using an override annotator. So this is not like necessary, but this is not necessary, the override annotator, but it's just a good way for you to know that, I'm redefining this method. This method was defined in Java plugin, but we're just redefining it in our class. So to use an annotator, to write an annotator, all we have to do is to type add and the annotator name to override. So the method or the function that comes after this annotator is the method that you are redefining. So in this case, we'll first need to redefine the onEnable function, the onEnable method. So what the onEnable method is it's a method in Java plugin that executes once the server has loaded the plugin. And so we can type public void onEnable. So this will be our method definition. So the public is the same as the public that we put before the class. It's just to tell the compiler that, hey, this should be accessible and this should be callable like outside the class and everything. But void here is actually the return value. So in Java, if you've not dealt with languages with static typing before, Java is statically typed. So every return value, every data type, right, has to be defined like in code. So it won't like interpret the data type for you. This unlike like languages like Python, right, where you can just type x equals to 1, and the interpreter will say, x is an integer, for example, right? This doesn't happen here. So you have to define the data types, the return values, everything beforehand. So this will be the return value. So by specifying the return value of void, this will mean that onEnable returns nothing, or not really returns nothing, returns null. Yeah. So in this case, this will be called when the plugin is loaded. So we can just log some simple string to the console, telling you that, oh, hey, the plugin is loaded. You can now use the plugin. So we can do this by typing get logger and call get logger, which will and we can call the .info method. So any string in this .info function, any parameters here, right, will be logged to the console. So we can just say, hi, thanks for using plugin, and close to semicolon. Is everyone all right? Is everyone following? So after we've defined this, after we've redefined this onEnable function, we can use, we can also refine the onDisable function naturally. So same thing, override annotator, public void onDisable. And in this case, we can log a different value. We can just log like by. Yeah, you can log whatever you want. So if you remember what my, if you remember what the plugin did in the video, the plugin took a command, right? So it listened for a command, carpet bomb. And once the command was called by any player, it will pass the arguments. So it will pass the player name and the number of TNT cycles. And it will use all those values, right, to spawn a bunch of TNT and carpet bomb the world. So breaking it down into steps, right, it will be the first, it will listen for a command, any command. Second, it will check if the command is carpet bomb. Next, it will check whether the appropriate arguments were given. That is player name and number of TNT cycles. Then if everything is correct, right, then we start bombing the TNT. We can't just rain TNT if we don't check for all these values first. Because let's say if we don't check if the command is carpet bomb, any command you run, right, will trigger the TNT. Like let's say if you just, let's say like you just want to time set day, right? Then suddenly TNT rains down. That's not very good. So instead of that, right, we need to have data validation and data verification to ensure that the player doesn't screw up. Okay, because Minecraft worlds are precious. So in this case, Java plugin has a method called onCommand, and onCommand is called every time a command is run. So this can be this is triggered anytime a command is run. So it won't automatically be like, oh, carpet bomb, right? Okay, I will run onCommand then. No, onCommand runs onCommand. So we can start by defining the method first. We define the method. So same as always, override public onCommand. In this case, the return value for onCommand, right, is a Boolean. So Boolean means either 1 or 0, right? True or false. So this function onCommand will return true when the command is successful, when the carpet bomb command is successful. If not, it will return false. Yeah. So Boolean. Oh my god, Boolean. Right, and the onCommand method, right, takes in 4 parameters. So these parameters are the person who sent the command, the label of the command, and finally an array of strings denoting the arguments. So we'll have to specify all 4 parameters here. So first it will be a sender, then it will be the command, then it will be the label of the command, then it will be an array denoting where each element is 1 argument. So we'll call that arg, right? And curly braces. So earlier on I said that Java was statically typed, right? So we can't just write this, right? Because then the compiler will be like, okay, but what data types are these variables supposed to be holding, right? Because it is quite ambiguous. Like let's say args, for example. How do I know that args is an array of strings? How am I supposed to know that command is of the type command, right? So we have to define the data types in these brackets. So sender will be of the type command sender. This is a data type defined using the Spigot API, which we can just import later. Command is of type command. Label is just a string. And args is an array of strings. So in this case, we can type the data type, and to denote that it is an array, we just put square brackets after the name of the data type. Right. Command sender and command aren't native to Java, so these 2 data types we have to import. So we will import a few more things. We will import .bukkit.command.command. Make sure you have the capital letter here, no capital letter here. Because this is the data type. This is just a directory. And we also want to import from command a command sender. So this will take care. These 2 import statements will take care of these 2 previously undefined data types here. If anything is unclear, right? If you are not following anything because you haven't messed around with Java before, or you just don't have much experience in coding in general, right? Do like send a message or something, or feel free to interrupt me. Yeah. So after we've redefined this method, it's actually very simple. We first need to check if the command is carpet bomb. Then after that, we need to check for the arguments. We need to check if the arguments are all okay. Like we need to check if there are arguments in the first place, because if the user runs /carpet bomb and leaves the arguments completely blank, then how do you know how much TNT he wants to drop, for example? So first, you need to check the command name. So we'll run if. We have an if statement here, and brackets. I know Python doesn't need these, but in Java and in other languages like C++, they are a necessity. So you will put your comparison statement in these brackets, and after that you will have a curly brackets which will run if this comparison is true. So in this case, what I want to do is check if this command is carpet bomb is equal to the carpet bomb string. So if command, but this is not a string. This is a command, this is a data type command. So in order to actually get the string, right, we have to call the method getName. So it's command.getName. And this will return the string of the command without the slash, without the forward slash. After this, what we can do is we can compare that to carpet bomb and see if it's true. A string carpet bomb, right? Carpet bomb. So, but you shouldn't do this, right? I know Python and other languages, right? This is the normal way to do it. But in Java, right? It's something to do with like the comparison between the same type of objects and stuff. But this is not a very good way of comparing strings because some low-level stuff can happen that we won't go through today. So instead, right, what we want to do instead is we want to call a string method equals. A string method equals, and then we paste carpet bomb into dot equals as one of the parameters. And what this will do, right, is this will just compare and return true if it's the same and false if it's not the same. But just in case the user has like caps lock on, for example, and he's too lazy to turn caps lock off for some reason, we'll just call the equal ignore case method instead. So equals ignore case, and what this will do is just ignore the casing. So the user can type like carpet bomb, and this will be true as well. The comparison will be true as well. Right? So if the guy runs carpet bomb, we'll run our plugin in here. We'll run the TNT bombing in here. But what if it's not? So we have to have an else statement here. And we will have to remember on command returns a Boolean value, so we will return false. We'll return false. Wait, false without caps. Is everyone following so far? Give a thumbs up. Okay, no, I trust that all of you are following. Right, so after that, we need to check for the arguments, right? So maybe in this case, right, we do something different. So we want increase customizability. So instead of just having the player and number of TNTs, right, number of TNT cycles, we can also specify the height of drop, like how high you want the TNT to drop relative to the player. And you can also set the TNT fuse duration. So how fast do you want the TNT to go off when they spawn? So let's say if you want a more like immediate threat, like you don't want to give your enemies any chance to react, then obviously you will specify your height of drop and TNT fuse duration to be 0, right? So that it'll just like go straight in a line and then explode like immediately. But like if you want like a more air raid kind of experience, like a plane flying over and then it drops like bombs everywhere, then obviously you want to increase the height of drop and TNT fuse duration. So this will just provide more more customizability, yeah, for your plugin, which is good, which is always a good thing. Just don't put too much customizability. So I think this is all right. So if args.length, so remember that args.length, remember that args is like an array of strings, right? So arrays have this property.length, which is an integer denoting its length. Yeah. So in this case, we are taking in 4 arguments, right? The player name, the number of cycles, the height of drop, and the TNT fuse duration. So that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count with me. Hola, soy Dora. Okay, I need to stop. So we need to check if this is true. If args.length is not equal to 4, then this means that the user did not specify enough arguments for the command to run, right? It means that there are some unknowns. And in this case, what you want to do is you want to tell the user what he's missing. Because if you just let this pass, right, the reason why the command didn't run, right, will be very ambiguous and the player wouldn't know why the command failed. So in this case, right, what you want to do is you want to call the send message method. And inside these brackets, we'll place the message that we want to send back. So we'll send back the proper usage of the command. The usage is /carpet bomb player number of cycles, height of drop, height, and fuse duration. Right. So if the player didn't type enough arguments, right, then it will show them, oh, these are the arguments that you have to specify. Because if you don't send this, right, then the player will just end up lost. Yeah. So otherwise, we can just we can now run the TNT bombing proper. So in this, what we want to do is we want to be able to repeatedly bomb, repeatedly spawn TNT, but this TNT needs to be repeatedly spawned with a delay. So you want a synchronous, delayed, repeated task. The reason why is because if you don't put a delay between each of the TNT spawn cycles, right, they will all spawn at once, and it's very underwhelming if they all spawn at once. So what you want to do is you want to lengthen it out, right? You want to spawn like 4 TNT at once, then like 4 ticks later, right, you spawn the next set of TNT. So to do this, right, to have a delayed repeated task, right, what we can do is we can use a class that's provided by the Spigot API called Bukkit Runnable. So first we need to import that. So import Bukkit.schedule this time, scheduler. And we want to import Bukkit Runnable. So this will be a class definition. And what this class definition has is it has a ton of different methods for running repeated tasks. Yeah, I mean the whole point of this this class is to run a delayed repeated task. All right, so let's do that. To use the Bukkit Runnable, we have to define an object, a Bukkit Runnable object. So what's the difference between objects and classes? Objects are just instances of class. Objects are just instances of a class. So in this case, right, we are defining a class, right? Because this is not yet defined in a way, like all the methods, all the attributes, all its attributes are not yet defined, right? But let's say I did x equals to new app, for example, right? So I make an instance of the app class and I assign it to the variable x. Oh wait, turn word wrapping on. Oh yeah, sure. Was it Control Z? Nope. Okay. Alt Z. All right. So yeah, so x in this case would be an object. So we want to any object. Oh, we have to close this with the curly brackets. New Bukkit Runnable. And this can be unnamed. We don't need to like assign it to a variable or anything. New Bukkit Runnable, and we need to call the run task timer method. So the run task timer method, right, will run the run method that we will define in Bukkit Runnable repeatedly with a delay. So if we call this run task timer, the first parameter is the class. So it's the object of this. We can use the this keyword. And then first, the second parameter is the initial delay. So let's say you wanted to give everybody a warning, right? You would have an initial delay before the carpet bomb. But in this case, I don't care. So we'll just set it to 0. This specifies that the number needs to be long. So the difference between integer and long integer is just the size that the variable can hold. So I'm gonna set the delay to 2 Minecraft ticks. Yeah. If you want it to be more gradual, right, you can increase the value of this. But yeah, I find that 2 is a good number. So what this run task timer method does, right, is it will run the run method. It will execute the run method repeatedly. So obviously, because of that, we have to redefine the run method. Override public void run. Oops. So this segment of code will be run repeatedly with the delay. So what we want to do first is we want to unpack our arguments first. So we would make these the class attributes. So private integer counter. This will be our number of cycles, right? So we want to make it equal to arc 1. Yeah, because 0 is 1. But remember that arc is array of strings, right? So if you want to convert to an integer, you would call the pass-in method of the integer of integer. So pass in arc1. So this will be an integer. Right, we can do the same thing for the rest of the arguments as well. So in height and TNT fuse time, for example, and this will just be 2 and 3. Next, we want to define the world that the player is in and the player object itself, right? So we'll have a variable called myWorld, which will be the world that the player is in. So what is a world? In the Spigot API, right, worlds are defined as like overworld, nether, the end. You understand? Okay, yeah. So if you know Minecraft, that should be pretty straightforward. So in this case, what we can do is we can call the worlds method, Bukkit.getWorlds, and .get 0. So this will get the world that the player is in, right? And this will be our data type world. And obviously, since these are native to Java, we are going to have to import them. So we would do import. Oops, let's import that first. Import get. Oops, I have to relocate. And import org.bukkit.world. It's already here. We might as well import the rest of our data types that we'll be using as well. So we'll be importing location as well, because we'll be needing the player location to direct the TNT, to direct the carpet bomb. And we'll also need to import the definition for the player as well. So we can do this by importing org.bukkit.entity.player. We also need to import the entity definition for the TNT as well. So we'll do that. Entity.ent prime is the name. And lastly, what we want to do is we want to import the entity type. Actually, are we going to use this? We'll see. Because entity type, I was just playing around with something. Oh yeah, we do. Okay. So now that we've imported all our definitions, we go back to our Bukkit runnable, and below world, right, we'll define the player. So our player of type player, we'll just call the player a target, and we'll set Bukkit.get player, and this takes in the player name. So in this case, we can just arg0. Got it wrong. So for each cycle, right? For each cycle, you'll be spawning a set of TNT. So this can be one TNT, this can be multiple TNT. I went with 4 because that seemed like a good number. But you can spawn realistically, I don't know, like 10 or 20 TNT at one go. Although I would fear for the integrity of the server. So for each TNT, right? For each TNT that we'll be spawning per cycle, we actually need to define a separate location. Every TNT needs its own location to spawn, because if you set them, let's say you have 4 TNT and you set them to spawn all at the same location each cycle, they're all gonna drop at the same time. They're all gonna be in the same place, and when they explode, it's gonna be at the same time. So it's basically like one TNT spawning, which is not very fun. You know, you need the range, you need the area. So instead of doing that, instead of dropping all the TNT in one location, we'll be defining 4 locations so that we can drop the 4 TNT in different locations, so slightly spread out, so they are distinct. So you can actually see the 4 TNT. So now we'll be defining the 4 locations. So location log 1, for example, and we can assign this the location of the player, right? Because we are going to spawn the TNT from the player moving outwards. So target, so that's our player, dot get location, So this will be a location object that represents the location of the player, right? And this has an X, Y, and Z value. So if you've played Minecraft for a bit, you will know that Minecraft is very hot on like the X, Y, and Z values. Yeah, you know, it is a 3D sandbox game. So you will have a tuple, sort of, that has your X, Y, and Z value. So when you call, so what we can do is we can call .add, and we have to specify the 3 values, the X, Y, and Z values. So this will be the location of the player, the X, Y, and Z location of the player. But because we don't want to spawn it directly on the player, right? we want to spawn it this height value above the player. So you have to add 0 for the x. Height is y, so we'll be specifying the height here. So height is the integer. So let's say if your height is 20, you'll spawn 20 blocks above you with respect to the player, because you're calling target.get location here. And 0 for the z value. And you can just create 4 locations. So v2, so v3, so v4. So notice how these all have the same location. These are all at the same location, right? That's not what you want. So instead, right, what you want to do is you want to spread them out a bit in the x and z planes. So you want to cross, right? You want to cross. So what we can do is we can add 1 the z index here. We can add 1 to the z here, to the x, sorry. Add 1 to the x here, minus 1 to the x here, 1 to the z here, and minus 1 to the z here. So it's like a cross formation. Cannot visualize it in your head. I hope you can. But even if you can't, just know that changing the x and z values will result in them spawning in different areas, which is important because you want to see the different TNT. You don't want to see one TNT dropping from the sky at every cycle, because that wastes the hard work with defining all these 4 location values. So this is the initial setup. When what we want to run, right, is the dropping of the TNTs. So at every cycle, right, what we want to do is we want to move all these 4 locations in a certain amount, and in a certain direction. And that amount is up to you, but the direction, right, in this case, it has to be in the direction the player is looking at. Because we want to steer it with our eyes, right? We want to steer it with our line of sight. So what I want to do is we want to first get the direction in which the player is looking at inside this run method, so that when I change the where I'm looking, right, the direction also changes. So that way the TNT chain can like swerve around, right? If you define it outside the run function, right, this won't repeat. And so it'll just go in the same direction, in the direction that you were initially looking at when you called the function. So when you call the command. So in the run method, we'll want to create 2 doubles. Oh, double. X and Z. So X will be target dot get location, get direction, dot get X. And it's the same for Z as well. Get location dot get direction returns a unit vector in the direction of the player's line of sight. So this can be, so I don't know if you all know what a unit vector is. If you all have studied like vectors, vector geometry before. But a unit vector, right, is basically a vector, or you can imagine it as like a line, an arrow, with a value of 1, with a magnitude of 1. So yeah, this vector can be unpacked into its component, so into its x and z component. Right, we don't need the y component because we aren't going to steer it up or down or anything. It's just going to be a constant height in the sky. But we need to steer it left and right. So in this case, we need is x and z. And I found that x and z were a bit too much, because if x and z are too big, right, what happens is that every time you increment the location by x and z in the x and z directions respectively, then if they are too big, right, then the TNT chain, right, will quickly go out of your render distance, and that's not what we want, right? We want to see the full magnificent grandeur of the TNT explosions. I don't know. So in this case, right, we can actually multiply x and z by a constant, and this constant can be whatever you wish. I chose 0.9 in this case. 0.9. If you want the TNT to spread faster, sure, you can increase this constant. If you want the TNT to be more packed together, you can decrease this constant. Just know that the initial x and z values aren't actually that high because, I mean, since it's a unit vector, right, and you're getting the components of a unit vector, they can only be a maximum of 1. So yeah, 1 means 1 block, not like 1 like centimeter or something. 1 means like 1 block. So okay, yeah, actually it's kind of a lot. So anyway, I'm getting off track. After you have the x and z, right, what you want to do is you want to increment these 4 locations, the x and z values of these 4 locations by these x and z values, right? So that will push it in the direction of where the player is looking at. So I can do log1 on x for the x direction, 0 for the y, and z for the z. And I can just, oh, what happened? Right? And I can just do this for all 4. Log 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, once you have these 4 locations, right, we can spawn the TNT at each of these locations. So we first have to define the TNT entities, right? So we'll be using the TNT prime data type that we imported earlier. Here. And we can name the TNT TNT1. We'll be initializing 4 of them, right? And we can cast it to data type TNT prime, just in case, because I had some issues with this earlier while I was like testing out the code. So casting is basically just like, oh hey, I'm very sure that this right side data type, right, is equal to the left side, so you don't need to worry, we are safe. Something along those lines. It's not exactly like that, but it'll be, it's fine. I think that definition is fine. So what we want to do is we want to spawn the entity into the world. Earlier on, we defined the world as my world. So in this case, we'll be using my world, and we'll be calling the spawn entity method, right? And this method takes in the location, and it takes in the entity type that you want to spawn in. So earlier on, we imported entity type, and we can access the prime TNT attribute of this entity type class. So log1 is our location, and entity type prime underscore TNT will be our entity, right? And we can just repeat this 4 times. The reason why I said 4 was a good number because I didn't want to tire myself out changing all the variable names. After 4, I got pretty tired. And I just stopped there. Sure, you can add more if you're tenacious enough. So after you have this, right, you might be wondering, how do I set the fuse time, right? Because we did specify fuse duration over here. So what we can do is we can just call the set fuse ticks method of a TNT prime object. So TNT1 dot set fuse ticks, and this will be the number of ticks. So TNT fuse time. Number of ticks is not milliseconds. I think 15 or 20 ticks is 1 second. And I don't really remember, but yeah. So you have to keep this in mind when you're calling the command, because if you type like something like 1000, right, thinking it's gonna be like 1000 milliseconds, right, you're gonna have to wait for like 10 minutes for the thing to go off. So you can just change this to TNT2, TNT3, TNT4, and yeah, default tick speed is 20 ticks a second. Yeah. So just checking to see if everything is okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So what this will do is it will just spawn the TNT in, and then it will delay for a certain amount of time, and then it will spawn them in again. This time at a different location, right? Because you incremented the location. The problem is that now we don't have a way to, we don't have like an edge case, or what do you call it? Like something that you use to exit the repeated task, because this will just go on forever. This dot run task timer will go on forever unless a cancel method, unless you call cancel, the cancel method within the run function, within the run method. So cancel, right? But you can't just write this, right? Because it will just cancel after the first run. So what you want to do, right, is remember that we defined counter here earlier, right? So what we can do is we can, after every execution, we can decrement counter and check if counter is equal to 0, right? And if it is, that means we have successfully decremented counter a total of counter times, right? We decrement by 1 every time. So once counter reaches 0, right, then we just yeet out. So what we can just do this by if counter equals to 0, then we execute cancel, and oops, counter fell wrong. That fell wrong there also. No. Right, and then we can decrement counter. We can just do like this. I'm not exactly sure if this comparison stops at like 99 or 100 or 101 runs, but I think it's all right either way. If your counter is sufficiently large, no one will notice. Right, and of course, since our method returns a boolean, public boolean on command, we have to return true, right? So we'll return true because the command has successfully been executed. We do this outside run task timer, so it won't return like inside the repeated task or whatever. Okay, right, that's the whole plugin done, sort of. Like you still have to define a few additional stuff. So I'm not sure if y'all have this plugin.yml. I'm pretty sure y'all don't, right? So under main, right, under the main directory, right, you need to create a new subdirectory called resources. So I'll show you how that looks like. So here you have your template, carpet bomb, source, main, and inside your main, right, you should have a Java folder, right? Right, Java leads to XYZ leads to carpet bomb. So in your main folder, right, you want to create a new folder called resources. And inside this resources folder, you're going to create a new text document called, and you change the what do you call this? My brain's lagging. File extension, yeah. You change the file extension to plugin.yml, right? Whatever. And after you've done this, it should appear right on in your Visual Studio Code. Is everyone all right with this? Or add the check for counters greater than 0. Yeah. So something I feel minus counter. So okay. So when you do this, right, this is basically in Java or in C++ or in other languages that support this operation. Minus a variable is basically the same, right, as x minus equals 1. Yeah. And there are multiple ways you can use this. So there's plus as well. So if you put the operator behind the variable, right? So minus x, this is a I don't know what you call it, pre-something, but this way of using the operator, right, will decrement it by 1 first, then do any comparisons. So in like this case, right, for example, right, this decrement will happen first, then after that it will compare with 0, right? But if you do something like minus, for example, if I do minus counter in this, if I do counter minus in this case, the comparison will happen, then I will decrement counter. So it's like pre and post kind of deal, right? So it's like some kind of priority situation, right? Also, we need to add the check for counter, right? Because I forgot about that. So when we are comparing like arc's length now equals to 4, right? Behind this else statement, we will add if else. Is it if? Is it
Else
if?
if.
Else if.
Else
Okay.
if.
All right, guys, my brain is like lagging. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Oh, anyway. Else if, and then we need the brackets like before, like the if, and we need to check if the height is the number of cycles is greater than 0. Because if it's negative, right, if the guy is like wants to purposely like screw your code over, and then he puts a negative value for the number of cycles, then this value will never hold true, right? Because it will continually like decrease until it hits like integer overflow. So we don't want that. So instead, right, we're just gonna check for it here. So else if integer dot pass in args1, we can just copy it from here, is greater than 0. It is not less than or equal to 0. And we will say what you're trying to do. Yeah, obviously you want to have something more descriptive here. All right, this should be it. So if y'all go into your resources /plugin.yml, in here, right, you will want to define a few like like instructions and like details of your plugin. So you have your name, you have the main. The name you want to you want it to be the package name. So can someone tell me what to put after else again? I'll show you. Wait. Wait, what do you mean after else? Like after this else, or?
I think the integer pass in part.
Okay. Right. So plugin .yml, you have to have your main. You have to have your name and your main. This will be the name of your plugin. So your package name. Earlier on, in the first line you define package and a name. Here it should be carpet bomb. But whatever name you set here, you set it to name as your name. And for your main, right, this will be your name dot the name of your class. So in this case, the class is add, and the file name is also called add. So this will be this. So carpetbomb.add or whatever you chose to set for name. Version, this can be 1.0, for example, because it's already ready to launch. Your author, you can set it to your name. And this is where you define your commands. So if you don't put your commands here, right, the server won't actually detect anything. The server won't actually detect that, oh, this command is actually like available for your plugin. So you want a command here, then the name of your command here, a description, the usage, permission, you can just put the name and dot the command and the permission message. So this can be like you don't have perms. So this will just catch anybody that's trying to run the command without any perms, so that your server doesn't die. So after this, once you have everything, probably I'm gonna send this in the chat so you can just copy. After this, once you have everything done, if you've set up Maven correctly, right, you're going to have this. Wait, can you see it? Yeah, you're gonna have this thing here, this GUI Maven thing, right, in your file explorer, right below your file explorer. And what you want to run here, right, is you want to run package. So if you run package, it'll open up the terminal. Oh crap. Okay, yeah, I just forgot to. So in your app.java, right, since you're using args, right, in Bukkit runnable, this args needs to be declared final. Final is basically like const in other languages. So it says, oh, I'm no longer going to change this variable. You are free to use it anywhere you want, and you don't have to worry about me changing it anywhere else, because this is going to stay the same. This is very important because, like, let's say you change like args. Let's say you change this array, right, outside this Bukkit runnable while Bukkit runnable is still running. Then you're gonna encounter some problems. Like, which one do you want to do? Do you wanna access the previous version of Bukkit of args, which I accessed when Bukkit runnable started, or do I now want to use the new args that you have defined, like outside of Bukkit runnable? Yeah. So this has to be declared final. But other than that, it should be alright. Hopefully. No, it's not alright. Missing return statement. Which line? Let's just try return false here. Yeah, okay. So just add a return false here, like below your else return false, and it should the compilation should be successful, like the build should be successful. If you did not configure your if you cannot configure playing the BuildingBloCS, you have to enable this in on your File Explorer. So if you're using Windows, right, you do View, you go to View here, and you check file name extensions. So once you do this, right, then you'll be able to see the .txt, and then you can just remove that. The return false should be done after the else. Yeah, so else return false. Then at the end, right, before the final curly bracket for the method closes, right, you return false. If you don't have this Maven GUI here and you can't get it out for some reason, you can open Windows PowerShell. You can navigate to your directory. Like let's say carpet bomb. Let's say you have carpet bomb here, right? Your cd to this directory, and then you will run Maven package.
They can just open the terminal in VS Code.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, okay, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. Obviously, this is not gonna work because oh wait, it worked. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but you can just run Maven package. This is just a GUI way of doing things. You can run it in the terminal as well. Just run Maven package and you should be alright. The thing just runs it for you without you having to type it out on the terminal. What's the error? Can you send in the chat? Main method not found in the file. Please define a main method. Main method not found in the file. Maven executable not found path. That's just because you didn't add your Maven to your environment variables. I don't see the options on the Maven. It's a Maven and then lifecycle.
They can also just right click the carpet bomb thing. It'll be called, it's called BBCS on your screen. It's called it'll be called carpet bomb on yours under Maven. So if you're under Maven, Isaac. So you open up Maven, right click the BBCS, but you can also click package from there. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the areas for main method not found in the file. Can you send a full like stack trace? I don't see the option. Please go to another code. Okay. Like here. Is this good? Oh. Like send here or DM me on Discord. Yeah, Maven executable not found. Do you add it to path your environment variables? Wait, actually, Ming, you can just like screen share. Let me try to. Okay, wait, I'm heading to a breakout room.
Okay, so while Isaac and Ryan go and help the other people, I'll be um I'll be showing you guys how to set up Minecraft server. So for those with Macs, can you please go to the Mac OS server hosting breakout room where Ray Yang will teach you how to set up servers for Mac. Oh wait, now my Ray Yang says for you later. So I'll just go ahead and start then while Ray Yang does that. Okay. So okay, when you when you unzip the folder, you have a folder called server in here. And what I did was that I brought it out into another folder here. Okay, so we'll be starting out with setting up the Minecraft server. So I need y'all to create like a batch file because you currently don't have a batch file. So what you want to do is you just create a new text document and just name it start Minecraft server.bat. And in it, uh, and then in it, I want you guys to type this command because this command because this will start the server, and instead of typing command prompt, this batch file will just run it for you. So just Java, and I'll just copy this, but yeah, I'll give you some time to copy into the notepad. So this will just run the thing at a maximum of 2 gigabytes of memory. And I'll put no GUI over here just to make it simpler. Then after that, you can type pause so if there's any error message, you can just see it. And after you've done that, I want you to save it to here. Yeah. So after you've done that, there should be a batch file here. Wait. Is this working? Oh, I see. I typed it wrongly. Remember, so make sure not to put full up period because that will be the extension, and that you have the batch file. So all I have to do now is just to run the batch file, and the command prompt will open up, and you start running the paper server over here. So over here you can see that there's a warning message saying that you need to agree to the EULA to run the server. So this will be very easily fixed. You just go over to this newly generated text file, and there's a there's an option over here for you to change EULA from true to false to true, saying that you actually agree to the EULA over in this link. So after you've done that, remember to save it. So you just go File and you save. Then you can close this. Then you can rerun this batch file. Okay, then they'll give you this message saying that you're using outdated version of Java, but this is actually normal because they haven't created, like 1.17 hasn't come out, so they haven't confirmed it. So there's nothing to worry about. And by now your server should be set up. So if you were to go into Minecraft, and forgot my password. Okay, if you go into Minecraft and so currently your server is hosted on your local network, so it's not really broadcasting out to other networks. So right now the server is working, but you can't share any IP with your friends as they will not be able to as they'll not be able to enter the server as you like for security reasons. So if I were to go into here and I were to type localhost, and then this will be a server, a brand new server. So at this point, you will want to be able to share it to all your friends who are playing on, or like who wants to play on server with you. So normally what people do is to do something called port forwarding, but for today we'll be using ngrok. So yeah, so I'll just extract this over here. This ngrok zip folder that should be inside the folder already. And yeah, there it is. It will there'll be this application that will run. At this point, I believe that most of you have done this already. Have set up for ngrok account. So you just go to ngrok.com and you just click login or sign up. Rather sign up if you haven't created an account. So this will be the dashboard for ngrok, and then what you want to do is that when you enter the command enter the application here, the command prompt will open up. And for first-time users, what you want to do is you want to copy this command, except for the dot and the slash, and you paste it here. So this will just verify that you are who you are, and yeah. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna create another batch file so you can save you the trouble of running, going to command prompt and running the thing every time. So just new text document, and we want to enter this command ngrok tcp, and then we want to set our region. So we set it to Asia Pacific because that is the nearest server from here, so we don't get as much lag. Then we want to host it on port 25565, and we will save it as start Minecraft server dot batch. Wait, sorry, start ngrok server. Sorry, my brain is also lagging my Isaacs. So start ngrok server dot batch, and you have this batch over here. So all you have to do is you just have to run it. Why is it not running? Oh, okay. That is my bad. I'm gonna put a pause over there. So yes. Okay. So when I run this, the command prompt should come up, but oh yes, okay. What is this? Why is this not working? Sorry, give me a second. Oh, okay, I understand. So my mistake. We're supposed to put this inside here because we need we need the application in the same directory. If not, the command prompt wouldn't detect and grok. So you should remember to put the application into the main directory, and then we're gonna click this and it should work. Yeah. So now you have this command prompt saying like all the details of the server, and as you can see over here, this would be your server IP. Yeah, and then if everything goes well, this should work. Where is my Minecraft? So if I want to copy and paste this here, yeah, it should also work. So I'm connecting on the public IP. And since another thing to note is that since I'm using a free plan, each tunnel can only uh, be active for 8 hours. So it'll be a bit troublesome, but you have to re-tunnel every 8 hours and the IP will change, but this should be okay. And finally, when you are done, you just all you have to do is Control C and this will just stop. Yeah. Any questions? Hold on, give me a sec. Okay, so I think about now, once Raydang is finished with the Mac users, it will be time to start doing on the part like going on to the main server. So just give me a second. Okay, so since Raiyang hasn't finished with the Mac users, I'll need you guys to help by filling in this feedback form. And then after this, we would be going on to the building block server to test out the carpet bombing plugin. I'll just leave this here for now until everyone comes back.
All right, hello everybody who's joining us. All right, so today I'll be going through how to create your own Minecraft server on macOS and use nrock to make sure that everybody who all your friends are able to join your Minecraft server. Now I'm recording this video after the fact from the workshop, and that's because the Windows installation and the macOS installation differs slightly. So I'm just gonna go through it for the sake of completeness. Right, so in your template zip file, you will be able to find this server folder that is given in your zip file. So I just need you to open it, and inside you will find 4 commands. Start nrock server, 4 files. Start nrock server command, start Minecraft server, paper-1.16.5 as well as nrock macOS. Now the first thing I need you to do is to double click on this nrock macOS to unzip it. That will give you a binary executable. Alright. And then what I need to do next is I will need to open a terminal window. Alright, and this might seem very scary at first, but I promise you it's not that complex. So what I need to do is you press Command space, alright, or you can click on the search button on the that you have on the top right hand corner, alright, and search for terminal. Okay. And that will bring up a terminal window. Now your terminal window might look a bit different from mine. That's because I've made mine a bit more colorful and stuff. But the general idea is still the same. Alright. And what we need to do next is we need to sign in to nrock with our nrock authentication token. Now first, what is nrock, right? So nrock is an application that allows you to very easily create tunnels to your computer. So now, why is this important? Because your Minecraft server would by right listen to connections on port 25565. What this means is that anyone who wants to join your Minecraft server will need to connect to your computer at this port 25565 by default. However, if your friends are not in the same network as you are, that means they are not at your house on the same Wi-Fi network as you are, they will not be able to connect to connect to your computer's Minecraft server unless you do some sort of either port forwarding or tunneling. And in this case, that's what we're going to do. We are actually going to tunnel, create a tunnel from their computer to your computer via the use of nrock. Now, nrock, to create a TCP tunnel, nrock requires you to sign up for an nrock account. So this is exactly what we're going to do. I will need you guys to go to nrock.com, alright, and click on sign up. Alright, and then they will ask you for your name, email, and password. So just enter something here. For example, I'll be for myself, maybe I'm demo BBCS user. Let's do demo BBCS workshop. Okay, I am not a robot, and click on sign up. All right. So next thing you want to do is that you want to copy this connect your account command, right? So here's my here's the command that you need to copy. Now I only need you to copy the words after the auth token. So that means auth token and all the way to the end. Alright. So just copy this. Alright. And then what I need to do next is go to your folder with the nrock and drag it into terminal. right? Drag it all the way into terminal, and you'll see this bunch of text pop up, right? And after that, I just need to paste whatever's after the auth token, right? And then press enter, which would save your nrock command. So next, what I need you to do is to do the same thing again. Click on your nrock and drag it into your terminal. But this time, I want you to delete the nrock. Alright? And then I need to go to the front on the line. So you do so you just hold the left arrow key and go all the way to the front. Or if you want to be a bit faster, you can hold option and you can skip by words. And then you type CD at the front of it. And then press enter. That will change, CD will change directory into this current folder that you have. So if I do an ls, which at least what's in the folder, you will see that is these 5 files, which is the same as what I have here. Now, what I'm going to need to do next is I'm going to need to make sure that these two .command files are executable. That means I can run them. I can double click on them and run them, right? So to do that, I need to do chmod +x and then *command. So this will make sure that all the files that ends with .command in this folder will be able to execute. That's what the +x does. It tells your computer that yes, I can run this commands. You can run these commands when I double click them, right? And then what I will also need you to do from then onwards will be as simple as double clicking on this start Minecraft server command. Wait, sorry. So after that, what I need you to do is you run this /start Minecraft server command, which would start the Minecraft server for you. Then I need to press Command T. Right, Command T will open a new tab. And then what I need to do is the /nrock start nrock /start -nrock server.command. Right. What you are seeing here is that it is actually created a tunnel to the US region. The zip file that will give you will not do this. It will actually connect you to the Japan region for easier connectivity. All right. So the issue is that when we run this command, right, when we run /start nrock server.command, it actually opens a server into the United States, right? And what happens is that if we open a tunnel to the United States, it's going to be very slow. It's going to be very ping. You're going to have very high ping, right? Because geographically speaking, we are quite far away from the United States. So what we want to do is that we want to open a tunnel to the nearest available server that we have, which in this case is Japan. All right. So to do that, we'll stop this command with Ctrl+C. So press Ctrl+C. All right. Then we are going to edit this command file. For those who although if you're following us at home, this command file already been updated. So unless you notice that the region is running on the United States, then you can edit it. So we're going to use something called nano to edit this command file, and you just append -region equals to JP. All right, this will make the tunnel this will form the tunnel between us and a Japan server. Right, then to exit, press Ctrl+X, press Y to save, and then press enter. Then we can run the command again. And as you can see, it actually connects to Japan on it actually goes to Japan instead. So over on here, you notice that it will ask you to load it will say field load eula.txt, and you need to agree to the eula to run the server. So go back to your folder, double click on this eula.txt, and change eula equals to false to eula equals to true. Alright. Save it, and now you can start your Minecraft server. And just to show that it works, I am going to show you connect to the Minecraft server through the nrock tunnel. Now you'll see this warning because I'm currently running the Minecraft server with Java 11, although I believe the Java version that we gave you is Java 8, and it basically is warning you because Mojang is going to move to Java 16 from the next update onwards. But you don't need to worry about this. This is just a warning for you. Right? So, if I was to go to this, if I was going to copy this link here, ignore the TCP : / in front, and go to Minecraft. And once Minecraft decides to load, click on multiplayer, direct connection, and then paste this link in. Alright, and this will connect me to the Minecraft server. There you go. Alright, and just to show you that it works, I can say hello, and Tinkerbell said hello. Alright, and that's all. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and